Good morning, and we're in chapter 5 of Genesis, and this is the book of generations, it looks like, of Adam. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through the whole thing today, and we're going to dive into some of the specifics in the next few days, mostly because, as we learned yesterday, this is mostly just generation, but I was told to pay attention to generations, and you get a few things from it. This might not build your testimony, but one of the things that I'm noticing or have noticed, we're trying to get down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the covenants God made with them. This is the background story. All of this, the creation and everything else, is to get to Abraham. So he's going to go through this a bit. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them. Now, I talked about that when we talked about the creation, that it is male and female he created. And then we went into a little bit more of a story about I want to say how he created, but why he created them, male and female, and blessed them. But notice how it's doing that, and called their name Adam. Notice it says their name Adam in the day they were created. And if you look in the notes, it says that Adam is also a common noun, meaning man or mankind. So he's calling both of them, in this sense, Adam. Even though Adam was the first man, it says, he's calling both male and female Adam, or mankind. And Adam lived 130. Now we're back to the single. Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness and after his own image, and called his name Seth. And now we're here talking a little bit. We already know that he's had sons and daughters and things like that. 130 years, you can have a few children grow up and have children and have grandchildren by that time. So 130 years, we have Seth come along, and Seth, we heard about Cain and Abel. They grew up and made choices, and there's other people. But now it's kind of the second or third round of children or whatever of Adam. And he had Seth in 130 years. So you don't know what everybody has during this, but let's go through it. The days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Adam that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Now, you can say, well, that's just figurative or something like that. I'm taking it as literal. We don't know how long people lived back then. People 100 or 200 years ago or 500 years ago would have been amazed to see people living in their 80s and 90s as much as we do. But it was during their time, it wasn't like that. It was a lot shorter. And this is just a lot longer. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years and begat, I missed that, sorry. And all the days of Adam were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. And Seth lived, after he begat Enos, 807 years and begat sons and daughters. We don't know if Seth had children before that. We won't, but most likely, if he lived 105 years, he'd had children before that. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, so a lot of people live in quite a long time, 912 years. Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived, after he begat Canaan, 815 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalalel. And I started counting the years between when each one was born. I just put a little note there. It says 395 years since the fall. I put the fall because it said that Adam lived so long, and I'm guessing that was after they left the garden, when he was truly mortal, you might say, living outside the garden and not living within it. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's 300 and whatever years that it says that they've lived. And so let's watch this go up a little bit. Think Adam is only 300 and something years old. He's going to live to be 900 something. So he's like in his 30s, basically. This is just putting it in context a little bit of how it might have seemed to them. And Canaan lived, after he begat Mahalalel, 840 years and begat sons and daughters. And the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalalel, Halil, lived 65 years, and begat Jared. And Mahalalel lived, after he begat Jared, 830 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. He was young, according to what we've seen so far. And Jared lived 102 years and begat Enoch. And Jared lived, after he begat Enoch, 800 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. So here we got, he lived, where Jared lived, Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. So about 687 years after Adam had been born, or had this record had started. So Adam would still have another 300 years. Quite good, huh? And we know that Methuselah was supposed to be the oldest man recorded. Though when you're all living in your 900s, a few years here and there probably didn't really matter as much. And now we get to something that is interesting. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. So he doesn't seem to have lived as long, except it says here, Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And we're going to spend probably the rest of the week on that one verse over in Moses. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. And the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat sons and daughters. And he called his name Noah. So when was Noah born? About 1056. Adam time, whatever you want to call it. So Adam would have died by now. He would have met Lamech, he would have met Methuselah, but he just misses Noah. And so there's a new dispensation. The Adamic dispensation is closed. The dispensation of Noah is just starting. And we often talk about, last year when we were in Doctrine and Covenants, there was Adam-ondi-Ahman, and the place where Adam dwelt. And I don't know if we mentioned it about him gathering his people and counseling with them. If you can imagine all these people we just mentioned and all their sons and daughters, and there's probably a lot of people there gathered around Adam as he gave his last instructions after 900 years of living. So Noah is born, saying, "This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because the ground the Lord hath cursed." So we get a little more, and we're going to talk more about Moses very soon. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 590 years and 95 years, and begat sons and daughters. And the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And we'll talk more about them very shortly. One thing I noticed, though, is these people lived a long time and would have lived through the flood, most of this. If he lived 777 years, he probably was around for the flood. It depends. We'll look closer, but and Methuselah, for instance, he lived a long time, and it makes a difference in the story. The reason why I mentioned this and why I took this down is so that we can get a feel for that these people weren't in isolation, that they heard the messages. Noah may not have seen Adam himself, but his father had, his grandfather had, and his great-grandfather had, and they were telling him stories, and they were telling him about the gospel. He didn't all of a sudden just come to a realization, hey, I got to build an ark. He had the gospel there, and we should look at our generations and teach them. We may not live that long, but we can still teach them the gospel. And I hope you got that from this today, and I hope you share with your family. And we'll see you tomorrow.